Howdy, folks. This is Lucas Richard Taylor from the band Highway Hypnosis. You are listening to Guadalupe River Radio.
You're locked into Backstage Interview on Guadalupe River Radio. I'm Jody Hinkle. Up next, Drown My Sorrows by Highway Hypnosis. Don't change that dial. Right after that, I'm sitting down with frontman Lucas Richard Taylor to pull back the curtain on the stories behind the music and his musical journey. Here is Drown My Sorrows by Highway Hypnosis.
As the money
That was Drown My Sorrows by Highway Hypnosis. We have with us today Mr. Lucas Richard Taylor, the lead singer of Highway Hypnosis. Thanks for being with me, buddy.
Thanks for having me, Jody.
I love listening to your music. I've been watching you for years. Why don't you tell me a little bit about Drown My Sorrows? I love that song, and there's a line in there specifically that I really enjoy. You know, that opening line.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I'm just as wasted as the money I spent to get this way. That one, I was about 21. I just turned 21, I do believe, and I'd moved up to Austin from here in New Braunfels because that's what you do when you graduate high school and don't go to college, I suppose. And I was busking. I was playing for tips on South Congress one day, and that song kind of I was partial to taking out my '58 Gibson, and that song just kind of fell out of that guitar right onto the sidewalk one day, and I didn't have a pen or paper with me, and thank God I was able to remember it until I got home. Yeah, that's pretty much how that one happened.
It's a great song. Isn't it interesting how sometimes songs can take forever to complete themselves, and sometimes they just come pouring out of you?
Brother, I much prefer the latter, let me tell you.
Yeah. How did
That
you
first one gets a little tough.
How did you get into music? I know Green Hall's always been really dear to you as well as the music scene here, but how did you get introduced to it and how did you get in the music industry here locally?
Well, I've had a playable guitar in my hands from the time I was 4 years old on, but I didn't have the patience for it until I was about 12. I come from a long line of musicians on my mom's side. My mom had a band with my granddad for about 20 years, and my granddad had played growing up with his brother and his dad, and that was how my great grandfather, our papa, Burl Hughes, that was how he fed the family through the Depression, was playing fiddle at barn dances and guitar and mandolin and whatever else he could. And so I was pretty much raised around it. My folks, we bounced around a lot when I was a kid. My dad was in the car business and it was a pretty unstable fiscal upbringing. But we always settled back in New Braunfels because my parents both loved the music scene. And like my dad used to sit me on the bar at Green Hall, when I was a little kid. And that was how I grew up, was watching front room shows there and just doing my absolute best to become one of my heroes.
You know, one of my favorite stories I think you told me was you had a birthday party once at Green Hall, didn't you?
I did. My ninth, yeah, it was kind of funny. My folks, I was really into pro wrestling. Well, I still am. I'm a nerd, but I was really into pro wrestling at the time. And Hulk Hogan, rest in peace, brother. He just had joined the NWO, and so we had a black icing NWO cake. And there was not a kid in Green, Texas that didn't have a black mouth that day. The parents were a little perturbed, some of them, but other ones saw the fun in it. That was pretty good. But yeah, we were watching Brett Graham that afternoon. It was a very memorable birthday.
I bet it was. What was the first time you played Green Hall? Do you remember that?
Well, I remember the first time I sat in for sure. That was with our good friend Tony Taylor, and he had one of his, Tony Taylor and Friends shows out there on a Tuesday night, and he had gotten wind that I had never had the privilege, and so he got me up and played, and I got to tell my mom that I'd done Green Hall before she passed, so that was a little checkpoint for me.
That's awesome, dude. And I know that you were really close to your mom. What kind of influence did she have on your music?
Oh, her and my dad both were my biggest supporters that I've ever had, ever will have, other than my wife. Um, and it's one of those things where I had the opportunity to capitalize on my ability, and they did everything they could to facilitate it.
That's awesome.
It was they got me my first gig. I was at the Faust Hotel when I was 14. Was my first paying gig, and $50 for 4 hours, and I got screwed on the other $50 because the lady that was there at the time wasn't quite on the up and up. But luckily, things have changed in the 17 years since that's been.
Now, I know a song that you wrote, you talk about your playing your first gig at 14,
Yeah,
but I think a song that you wrote in high school, I think you said was Trouble, right?
yeah. I was 17 when I wrote that one.
That's a
That
gr-
was
that's
that
one of
was
my
another
favorite
little
songs
trip.
of yours. I know that you know that.
Yeah, thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
In fact, why don't we listen to Trouble right now? This is Trouble by Highway Hypnosis.
Sounds like a winner to me. Thanks, brother.
Since I was a little boy, my mama said to stay away. And ever since I was a little boy, she said that girl's gonna make your head break. Ever since I was a little boy, never listened to a word she'd say. And ever since I was a little boy, Lord, I've been ruining that damn day, just causing trouble. Just like my mama told. She's causing trouble and making me feel too damn low, yeah. Now that I'm a grown man, I'm just trying to get back home. Now that I'm a grown man, Lord, I'm getting tired of feeling all alone. Now that I'm a grown man, Lord, she ain't doing me no good. Now that I'm a grown man, I'm gonna shoot her down like I know I feel like she's causing trouble. Just like my mama told me, she's causing trouble. Since I was a little boy, my mama said to stay away. Ever since I was a little boy, she said that girl's gonna make your hair gray. Ever since I was a little boy, I never listened to a word she'd say. And ever since I was a little boy, Lord, I've been a ruin that damn day.
That was Trouble by Highway Hypnosis. We're joined today by Lucas Richard Taylor, lead singer of Highway Hypnosis, and you can catch him all around town, gigging, great time. I saw him Tuesday night with Mr. Cameron Albright over at, I always call it the Chicken Shack, but I know it's the Birdhouse. And that
The
was a
bird.
great time,
Yeah,
man. So
yeah,
tell me
that's a
about
good one.
Trouble.
So Trouble was that was a culmination of many things at the time, but it was pretty much about a relationship that I was in. My my darling mother, she could tell that the girl that I was with at the time was exactly that, and I should have listened to her. But I guess that if I did, I wouldn't have gotten the song. So, it's kind of a inspiration out of a desperate moment kind of a thing.
And so you wrote that? That's exactly kind of how the situation was, huh? It was just trouble.
Yeah, and she was kind of toying with me, and turns out she was, seeing a buddy of mine behind my back and all that kind of stuff. And it was one of those things where, it was a good thing that it ended, but I couldn't see it. I couldn't see the forest for the trees at the time.
Sure.
It was one of those things. But she wound up having a baby with some dude with face tattoos. I think they're doing great.
Well, good for them.
Yeah.
Speaking of good things, you're playing tonight over at Billy's Ice. Tell us about that.
Yes, sir. Billy's Ice. It's not a house, it's a home. That's correct. I'm gonna have my friend Jacob Kyle with me. He's a amazing blues and resonator player. He's just been in that contest that Green Grove had, the songwriters contest that was judged by Fowler and all those other cats. He's really, really tight. He's got a great style. He's immaculate with a slide. And I could stand to take a slide lesson or two from him. As a matter of fact, he's damn good.
I love when you play harmonica. You think you'd be playing any harmonica tonight?
Oh yeah. I imagine I'll be backing him up with a couple of leads on the harps. Shout out to my good friend Mark Payton for donating those to me. If it wasn't for those minor keys, I'd be lost half the time.
So that's tonight at Billy's Ice. What time does it start?
8:30 p.m.
8:30.
Well, you know me, it's always a give or take 5 or 10 minutes.
Well, that's music in this town anyway. I mean, it's like,
oh brother, yeah.
It's an idea. Somewhere around there, it's going to start.
Well, I chalk it up to Murphy's Law when it comes to sound equipment.
Right. Absolutely. Now, one song that we're going to listen to going out is Jezebel. Tell us about Jezebel.
Well, that one I actually wrote when I was about 19. A lot of these are older songs, as you can tell. They're off the record that we put out back in 2014, I believe it was.
Okay.
But yeah, so that one, I was actually living with my friend Dallas Burrow. You know Dallas.
I know Dallas.
And there were 6 dudes living in a 4-bedroom house. It was like Animal House, but with even less school. My wife likes to joke that there was likely a room full of spare tires at one point. But that kind of a rough and tumble existence we were all leading at the time, and there was some work to be done on the farm that day. And I hate moving T-posts with a passion. I hate post hole diggers.
Right.
I hate them. The only PhD I've ever held in my hands, and I don't care if I ever hold another one, my brother.
Yeah.
So
I've been there.
Yeah, it was really muddy and wet, and I didn't want to do the work. We wound up doing it anyway, but there was also there's a common pattern here. There was a female kind of messing with my brain at the time, and long story short, she kind of took the brunt of the song. But so I guess if anything, just a caution to any teenagers out there that might be listening, careful what you do. You might wind up in a song.
You'll be immortalized forever.
Yeah, you never know who it is you're with until they write it either.
Since we're talking about music and stuff like that, I know one of the things you do is you work at School of Rock. How do you think that has influenced your music, teaching others?
Well, brother, it's made me a way better player. I'll tell you that right out of the gate. There have been things that I've learned just from my coworkers, let alone, a couple of my students. It's amazing when the student is able to show the teacher something that they didn't know. And that's something that I pride myself on with us down there at the school. I pride us on is the ability to stoke that fire and keep them wanting to do it, and keep them hungry for learning more. That's the biggest reward out of it for me is seeing my kids on stage just absolutely tearing it up. I mean, I've got to say, I've seen some of my former students on a stadium stage in front of 48,000 people. That's and awesome. It was a breathtaking experience,
Absolutely. We've talked about some different songs you've written and inspired by some women you've dated. Now, your wife, you're married now to the lovely Mary. Mm-hmm. How has she influenced your songwriting? I know it might be in a different way now.
Yeah, well, the hell of it is, I'm kind of sitting on most of those because they get a little sappy.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm having to weed out what I think is a little too much cheese, a little too much cliche here and there,
right?
And try to get through to the actual message, which is difficult with the person that you truly love, because there's really no way to encapsulate it.
Right.
So I'm kind of trying to catch lightning in a bottle. Excuse me, so far as that one goes. Yeah, we'll hopefully hear a couple of those soon, but I'm polishing them real hard.
You know, one of my favorite times at your shows is when she does occasionally join you up on stage and sing a duet with you. What's that like for you?
Oh, brother, it's the best feeling in the world. But it's kind of funny, she's got a little bit of stage fright.
Yeah.
And so when we were playing, it was right as lockdown was letting up, and we were doing Green Hall, me and Tony and Ryan Snipes, and we wound up, or I think Austin Gillum might have been on that one actually with us, but we wound up doing Charleston Girl by Tyler Childers out there on the main stage of all places, because they still had things
Right.
sequestered off, into tables and such. And so she got up there and did that with me, and I was, over the moon about it. And then the next week at Billy's, she wouldn't get up and do it with me, and I asked her why, and she said, "Well, Green Hall wasn't full of musicians." So yeah, I've got to work her over that little bit of stage fright, but it's magic when she actually does it.
I bet it is. You guys do sound amazing together. I think that's part of your relationship coming through too. And
Thank you.
I'll tell you what, you guys do have an amazing relationship. It's something that I see, and I'm like, man, that's awesome. The way that you guys just really mesh well together in your relationship.
We
So,
really appreciate that, my brother.
absolutely. Well, right now we're going to listen to Jezebel. Before we go, I want to say thank you for being on with me. I love the insight. If people out there want to find out where you're playing, find out more about you and your music, where can they go?
Lucas Richard Taylor on Facebook is my best bet for that. That's actually my personal page. You'll see the profile picture's a picture of me and our buddy Snipes on the stage at Green Hall, and hard to miss. But that's probably the best way. That's where I do all of my publication for gigs and things like that. In fact, I'm about to reshare a post about our gig tonight.
Awesome. Well, cool. Well, thanks for being on with me. I definitely appreciate it, Lucas.
All right, Jody, I appreciate you, my brother. I'll see you soon.
Thanks, man. Here is Highway Hypnosis with Jezebel.
I sharpen this pencil with my pocket knife to whittle away a moment of a day of my life. I know I shouldn't waste my time. It gets hard as the day wears on. Gotta keep myself occupied these days when I'm alone. I'll go outside, dig a hole in the mud, relish for a moment the sweat and toiling in my pulsing blood. Put off for another moment that memory flood. I fall one more time, then you leave. Jezebel, this song's all I'll get from you. What are we gonna do? Your main vice is attention, and you're famed for it. Just look at what it's done to us. But if I did mention all this extra tension, would all you